Hello, everybody. Welcome again to YCBA Kitchen Talks, and let me present the speakers. Let's start with Christiana Charalambous, body mind centering and yoga teacher, Shantavira Yoga founder Michael J. Stewart, international yoga teacher, and Thomas Bessel, founder of YCBA and teacher trainer. Yes, today's topic is very interesting and very seasonal, because we are discussing Easter rituals, or why are yogis, old yogis from former times and modern yogis, so obsessed with fasting. Who has something to say about this? Because I think it's quite interesting.
It's very good on your budget. In the modern day, particularly in the times we're living in, where economy becomes an issue, I think it's very good on that practical level. Everybody should fast to save some money. That's a practical, modern yogi perspective. So everybody stop eating for a day and notice how your bank account starts to expand while your belly starts to decrease.
Excellent.
That sounds very simple.
But all joking aside, I think personally, there are so many deep connections that I have been contemplating for many years about these rituals that become something in most of the Western world around this time of Easter, and how they might be connected to the traditions of yoga, being classical and otherwise. And there are so many similarities that I'm very happy to have this conversation, but I'll allow somebody else to jump in, otherwise I'll steal the show.
Christiana?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are lots of things we can do, and basically, I mean, I don't know, I can of course just talk for myself, but I believe, like, to differentiate, I mean, cleansing, fasting, or techniques to keep the body and the physical form and the mental form and the energetic form, so the different layers we are appearing, we show up, or so Kat muted me. So that's happening too in the yogic household. Another forms jumping in. So what I wanted to say is, like, basically it's it's a beautiful methods and techniques we have from the yoga perspective to cleanse and clean us on a regular level, not only for Eastern time or referring to religious times of the years. I believe that's something we do every day in our daily practice. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, what's up to what is with you? But I can name lots of different things to start on the physical form and then go into the energetic cleansing, cleaning parts. Lots of possibilities. Funky, juicy, yummy.
Thomas, what do you think?
Yeah, for me, it's Eastern is inspiring. For me, it's very inspiring, because after that long winter time, then comes the process of change. So what and what an inspiring festival, that Eastern festival. So look, when the people, when they are fasting, they are some kind of an ascetic person, and like to have that discipline to fasten. So, and it's similar to that what we have in the the yogic practices, right? And why are you doing that? just simply for the body? Maybe, but when it's in the context of that Eastern festival, so then it's in the context of a spiritual practice in my point of view, and that's also some specific thing. When the Christians celebrate Eastern, it's how say you that in English? Auferstehung from
resurrection.
Jesus. What?
Resurrection.
Resurrection. Thank you, Christiana. And on a normal daily point of view, that's very that's kind of funny, isn't it? When a person comes from death to a kind of a life, something or being. But when we look on our yogic practices, we are our goal or what we are practicing is make something possible what is not normal, and coming more into the spiritual world. There's also a lot what is not normal and doesn't work in that level of normal world being. So that's interesting for me. So why are you practicing? What is really that inner deep call to practice and put you in this ascetic form of fastening or doing something what is give you a chance that something happens what is not normal? So and so Eastern is in springtime. Everything comes and grows. So why should our spiritual path not growing? Do something for that. So that's how I look to Eastern, and I'm excited about that. And of course of the Eastern bunny. The Eastern bunny, yeah.
Well, I have to say what Thomas was touching on is kind of like in the line of where I'm going to go with this thought. What I think it's so connected in my perspective, or in lots of people's perspective in actuality, that we've just come out of a very dark period of time. If we look at the cyclical period of winter is a dark period where we go in, and hopefully the opportunity when we go in, we start to see or take the time to look at parts of ourselves that we normally don't look at. So when we can think about resurrection, or we can think about an emergence, we can think about that period where we go in, we look at the things that are dark within ourselves, and if we do the right kinds of practices, maybe we emerge with the new self. So this would be my comparative perspective on what it means to resurrect. What is that point? The point is, for all of us, we continuously, be it through a yoga practice or not, if you have any kind of self-reflective kinds of practices, you are going to look at parts of yourself that need to be left behind. We could say die even. And then from that might be an opportunity for an emergence of something new. So that to me is a very perfect, and it's just like everything cyclical. Everything dies in the winter, or it goes to sleep, or it goes dormant. Now, what we have an opportunity to do is to take that period of really looking at things within ourselves that need to be refined, reflected upon, or even removed to emerge as something new. So that's my direct connection to how this whole theme of resurrection fits for each of us. Now, just to touch on for a moment, this cleansing practices. We do it in Easter, and we do it in many yoga traditions. And now part of that is leaving aside that I'm going to suffer. I don't look at it that way. I don't look at fasting like suffering. And I know some traditions, and maybe some Christian traditions, go, well, you should suffer because Jesus suffered for us. Great. wonderful. If that's what you want to do, please suffer away. I think fasting is a way for the system to really cleanse. Again, it's this process of cleansing so you can emerge revitalized. Because when we do fasting practices from the yogic perspective, we are not, I would say, not all traditions. Some traditions really want to do it to suffer. I'm not interested in the suffering part so much. I'm interested in the part that goes, okay, this system, this physical system, because Christiana talked about it, we have lots of systems going on in here. Thank you for saying that. But the physical system, from the time we come out of our mother's womb, actually, even when we're in there, we're continuously consuming. This is running all the time and it's evacuating. It never has a time to stop. Most humans, from the time they emerge and continue to shove things in their face and keep eating and chewing and digesting, and excuse me, but we're not going to get beeped here, and shitting, this never stops. So for me, I think it's so important to let this thing once in a while take a break. So, one, the system needs to take a break. Two, if you cleanse the system, maybe you have an opportunity to rejuvenate yourself. So I think it's wonderful that people need a tradition, in this case, Easter being a Christian tradition, to go inside and clean and have that opportunity to emerge as something new, because we're all going to resurrect if you do that kind of work. It's not saved for one, it's saved for the many. That's my point on it.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. What I said first, I believe for me, or I think for when you're in a system of daily cleansing or going even maybe once a week to a fasting day, this should be included in your daily routine. That shouldn't be something which is like connected. But if it happens to be, then it's better than nothing. I believe if you do it out of a religious or kind of that context, why not? Because as you said, like we consume constantly, and we do not only like that what we eat and consume through that part, but also through all the other parts, like watching, listening, maybe even talking. All that is also for me, like it's also part of maybe, okay, watch this. Maybe there's a moment you could put away that device or that device. We're just having wonderful conversations through 4 different parts of wherever we are, but still that's also like a detox or cleansing part, and also what you listen to and what you say to. But I would like to say something else, because like me coming from an Orthodox background basically, and very, very early stepped out of that tradition, I remembered that for them, for example, traditional spiritual or religious fasting means twice a week, Wednesday and Friday, throughout the whole year, and in Eastern time even more, but throughout the whole year. Wednesdays and Fridays are fasting days. And I checked back and I remembered that I was very surprised when I heard that long time ago, that fasting means for them, it's a vegan day. It's just a vegan day. They do eat and drink and everything else, but it must be vegan on Wednesday and Friday. And then for us in the now, because you said, Sharada, we are the modern yogics as well, and like the connection with the old, this is like something not very unusual to have 1 or 2 or maybe 7 vegan days a week, or at least vegetarian. So I found that kind of funny to look back on that. Okay, they're quite really strictly fasting, and the heavy fasting for them, the Orthodox, don't take me wrong, Orthodox out there hopefully, but is then getting even further, and then now it gets really hard. There's no fish, which is again like a vegan day. There's no oil, and the most important, there's no wine. So I found that very funny.
I'm so glad I'm not in that tradition.
Yeah,
the last part I don't think is possible.
Yes. Yeah.
Thomas, I want to hear about it, man. Come on, give it to me.
I like your point. I really like your point of when we see to that something has to die in winter time, and then it comes up. And so It's also when you think about Jesus and that dying process, and we ask ourselves, so what in us has to die so that we can go further? I like that also, and that means a lot. It can start with that fasting, when we say, okay, that theme of eating meat on Wednesday and Friday, that thing has to die, and we can have that also in different perspectives, also of the defining of ourselves. So when we like to go further, what has to die to go further? What identification of ourselves has to die so that we can really see more? That's interesting.
Yeah, I think, I think even like from all the traditions of like the Christians, and there's many traditions. Christiana was just speaking about the Orthodox, like the Eastern Orthodox, the Greek Orthodox, like they have a particular perspective. The Catholics have a particular perspective, the Anglicans, the Methodists, they all have particular perspectives. I think in all of those traditions, though, if they really look at what all these things mean, they might not be so far off from what Thomas is saying, what I'm saying, or what the yogis might have said. It's like, what does that mean on a practical level for the individual? Are we just sitting here going, oh, well, somebody 2021 years ago did this for us, so now, okay. Or is it giving us an opportunity each time to do that process for ourselves? Because if we look at this, like looking at it from the Christian perspective, I was raised Catholic, so anybody out there thinks I don't know anything about Christianity. I know something about Catholicism. So, what I want to say around that is that, we have this opportunity each time to re-emerge and to become a something. So when we say, Christ died and then ascended to the right hand of his Father, this is what it says in the Bible. I don't know what it says in anybody else's Bible. The one I grew up with says that thing. Now, what I think that means for each of us is that, there's an interesting thing in yoga. It's called Kundalini. Kundalini is a kind of movement of energy, a very specific movement of energy, and it exists in a particular region in the body, and it moves from the lowest part of your energetic system to the highest part. So if you think about an ascending up to the place where you are with the one, then that would be very closely related to what happens when, in the yogic perspective, Kundalini rises, because you have to have all the impurities gone away, which would be the fasting part, right? And then this ascension of this energy would be, like in Christian terms, sitting at the right hand of the Father, because the purity of your essential nature rises up to this place that can see and be one with everything. I think that's what it means when you're godlike. You have risen to the point where you can see and be one with everything. So, yogis are talking about it, Christians are talking about it, everybody's talking about it, which is cool. I think the great thing here, from a yoga perspective, for modern practitioners of yoga, we can actually be doing these things regularly all the time. It's not for some amazing human being who did this 2021 years ago. This is for all of us all the time. As Christiana said, 1 day a week or 2 days a week or once every month. Doing that kind of practice is going to give us all the opportunity to be cleansed, to be able to see with clarity, feel with clarity, and be with clarity. That's the point, I believe, of fasting and the relationship between Christianity and these yogic traditions.
Yeah. Nicely said.
I've spent the last probably 45 years thinking about this Christian thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, my point was that it looks sometimes like people take this spiritual goal of fasting and and take it for their rather personal goals, like losing weight or
Great.
And it's totally not about the ascension, but
Okay, yeah.
but about another thing. Maybe it helps, definitely it helps feeling cleaner and getting a more clear head. But on the other side, if it's again, the goal is again totally about looking good, I think
that's a wonderful thing.
That's totally wonderful, but it might be a bit misused, or would we say, okay, it's okay. You do not need to have any intention with this, or you may have only this one intention, and it will still work. Very interesting question.
I think the point is it doesn't matter. If you do something like that, it's going to be good for you. So if you do it because you have vanity, I'm so glad we all have vanity, because if we didn't, we wouldn't care how we looked, and then it would be kind of ugly in the world. So I'm glad vanity exists. So if people do it because of vanity, you know what? The organs and your whole internal system, it doesn't care. It's still going to get the benefit. So great, please do it for that reason.
Plus,
whatever reason anybody has to do it, do it.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think it doesn't matter which reason behind, really, like whenever you do it, and it's not only for your own body, for your intestines, for better clear, for everything, whatever goal is behind. Always, of course, it's also for the environment. I mean, it's like the bigger thing, and if it's just the way of not eating meat like once a week or something, that would be a start. Better would be not to do it every day, but whatever, like it's a start. So I think whatever intention is behind, it's good to do something in that direction. Yeah. And if you, as a listener and watcher, want to know more about techniques and details, please contact one of those beautiful and with lots of technique stuffed teachers on this screen, because we have so many different possibilities, like from really, really easy things, easy access to really deep cleansing on different levels of all your body forms. So feel free to contact and try, because it's a lot of fun.
Yes, I should have said this.
Yes.
You find emails or contact below in the commentaries, and feel free to contact us and ask questions. And as we always say, offer us your thoughts about what we might speak or we might think loud for you.
Okay. I just want to say, I remember some months ago, maybe a few months ago, Thomas did this whole I think it was in one of the YCBA specials where he eliminated sugar for a while. And I think, just like to get really on the basic level, as Christiana was saying, there's so many ways to do this. I think, we don't realize how much sugar is in our food, in everything. It really is. If you just take the moment if you buy anything in a package, read what's in the ingredients. And most ingredients, it's the third or fourth ingredient. It's in everything. So, trying to do a detox like that, wow, you don't realize how much your physical system is continuously being sugared. So that could be a great way for anybody to begin this process of recognizing how these things affect our system. And Christiana touched on it for a moment, because there is a mental clarity that comes from just changing the way we consume. A mental clarity comes from changing the way we consume. And as she pointed out, that means speaking, that means looking, hearing, and everything. All of that, you get clearer just from shutting down the senses for a little bit.
Yeah, I personally love this aspect also, to maybe even track track Devi's time. Very interesting. Track the time you check your emails and everything. I mean, everybody speaks about this, but who does it really?
Hold on, I've got to check my email. I'm too busy.
And it's so revealing. It's really so revealing if we think, if we realize how many times we are checking things, and is it really important, right? I mean, yeah. So fasting. Maybe it will be fastening also, or even fascinating in some time. Is a very interesting, a very, very beneficial process. Not only done for Easter or in preparation for Easter, but summarizing, I hear that it is kind of preparing us for the Easter effect, like rejuvenating, or even, really coming to a new life. We're changing ourselves and everything in every aspect of our bodies. And I mean, we did 3-0 hero last month. Wasn't that easy? So we checked on sugar, no dairy, and then no wheat, or even any bread kind of stuff. And it was revealing also. Very interesting tracking. So guys, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and for giving inspirations. And let's continue the journey, and let's rejuvenate on a weekly level. What do you think? Yes.
I tell you what, for me, I mean, we've done this a couple of times now, a few times. I'm really interested to know who out there is really getting anything from this stuff that we're talking about, and what would you, Sharada says it, but what are you interested in talking about? I mean, really, this is really a conversation that only happens because you guys are interested. If you're not interested, we'll talk amongst ourselves and we won't bother turning on the device. So if it's valuable to you and you want this to continue, let us know. If not, we'll do it on our own. So while we're contemplating fasting and rejuvenating, please contemplate if this is valuable for you and how we can continue to serve you. And as I said, that the sun come out, it must be resurrection time. Oh, not quite yet.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.